Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, hello. I am going to go ahead and welcome you to another episode of the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast. This is episode 90 of the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast. As you know, I am your host, LaMar Penick, and I am elated that you are here with me. And so if you are here with me, then I know that you are a part of my jazzy crew. And if you are not a part of my jazzy crew, here's what I need for you to do. It's something very simple. I need for you to make sure that you are following me and you have subscribed to my podcast on the following platforms. We have YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and while you are there, please hit the notifications bell. And I also want you to leave me a review in the comments. Now, the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast was a true podcast in the sense of podcasting, and so it is there for your audio pleasure. So I need for you to go on Spotify, Apple Music, Google, Amazon Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm there on major podcast platforms. Do the same thing, subscribe, and I need for you to hit that notifications button. And I also need for you to rate it and leave a review. Now listen, I have a lot of hosting events coming up. That's right, I do host. I have been a host for over 20 years, all right? So I would love for you to jazz up your event and book me for your host for your next event. I can guarantee you, you will be satisfied. From corporate events to school events to community events. No event is an event without Jazzy of LaMar Penick of Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast. I am so elated this weekend. I get to celebrate a birthday celebration with someone who has never had a birthday party celebration. And I am so, I'm excited because I get to wear pink. And you know why I love pink and all of that good stuff, although purple is my favorite color. But she's having a 50 Shades of Pink birthday bash, and I cannot wait. I know that she received several referrals, and I'm glad that she decided to book me. And so if you would like to book me as well, don't hesitate. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? You better book me for your next event. And so it's very easy to do. Just shoot me an email at Jazzy, that's Jazzie, conversationswithjazz@gmail.com. But it doesn't stop there, because you can also be a supporter of this show, of this podcast, as it continues to grow. I need for you, if you have a business, if you have a service, and you would like to know more about ad space, I have that opportunity for you as well. Come partner with me and see how we can help your business to grow and get your name out there. All you have to do is email me at jazzyconversationswithjazz@gmail.com. Now, you guys know that I love a good Monday. I love a good Monday. And before we get into the show, I see a lot of you who are in the chats. I want you to wave to me. I want you to tell me what city in Polk County you are tuning in from. I want you to tell me what state you are tuning in from, because I was doing some logistics and I see a little trend of where my listeners are from. And it's not even just in the United States, which is a great thing, but I want to know where you are from. So I'm going to wave to some of you right now. I see Jamal is there. I see that Affluent is there. Double Trouble is there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Say hi. Don't forget to share this. Let everybody know that Jazzy Conversations with Jazz right now is live. So back to Monday. Monday is Bay for me. Y'all already know that, all right? So I love a good Monday, because Monday is that day that you get to reset your goals and be very intentional about your week. And so for today, for Monday, here's a word that I want you to meditate on, and I want you to ponder on, and that word is grace. Grace. You know, we know the term of being graceful and all of that, but I want to take you to the biblical sense of the word grace. And in the biblical sense of the word grace, grace is simply undeserved favor. Undeserved favor. Grace cannot be earned. It is something that is freely given. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted people to extend grace to you in a situation? Because I know I have, right? You know, you can be a hellion, you can do all of that, and all of that kind of comes from struggle. It comes from hurt. It comes from these places where we just need to be heard and we just need to be given grace. And so, although it's hard, I'm not going to tell you that I am a faithful servant of this at all. However, when I decided to do this podcast, and I knew that I would be coming to you each and every Monday, and even today as I meditated on what am I going to say at the top of the show, that's what kept permeating in my head was grace. We all need to extend grace every now and then. And again, I'm going to repeat that because grace is simply undeserved favor. And we've all experienced that undeserved favor where we didn't deserve it and we still got it from God. And so I'm just going to implore you to do that to someone else. I know it's going to be difficult. Jesus, I know it is. Trust me, I know it is. I know it's going to be hard, but I want you to do it. I also want you to do something else for me. So Jazzy Crew, I met a group. I met someone who has a phenomenal group, and I need your help with this, okay? I met a group by the name of PIC, P-I-C, and that stands for Project I Can. Now, Project I Can is an organization that is a mentor group, and this mentor group is based out of Tampa, Florida. And what this mentor group does is they serve a group of underprivileged kids from the ages of 12 to 18. And so what they do is they afford them on every third Saturday of the month they meet. But they teach them skills like employability, they teach them business skills, teen pregnancy prevention, college preparation, money management, business planning, entrepreneurship. They take college tours. They teach them about college preparedness. Get this. For all of the kids who are 18 years or older, they are able to get a certification in construction and also an OSHA certification with this nonprofit organization. So here's the thing. This weekend, they are having a sneaker ball. The organizers decided to do something very special for these kids before they go back to school, and they need your help. So they received grant money for tuxedos and for dresses and for the venue, but they need help with furbishing the sneakers for the sneaker ball. And so they are asking for gently used to brand new tennis shoes to help them pull off this sneaker ball that will be happening this weekend. And so what did I do? I decided to pick up this cause. And so if you have a giving heart, I received cash apps last night because I posted it on Sunday. I received cash apps. I received people who are pledging to donate their gently used sneakers to this cause, and I'm going to meet them. And so I'm going to meet with the organizers on Thursday, and I'm going to give them all of the donated sneakers. They need sneakers in women's sizes, men's sizes from 7 all the way up to size 15 for the boys. So if you are interested and you want to know the specifics on how you can help, just inbox me, DM me. You can email me at Jazzy, Jazzie, Conversations with Jazz, and let's see how we can help this group. So to the organizers of PIC, I really hope that this is a successful sneaker ball for these kids because you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Keep up the good work. And so I want you guys, as my Jazzy crew, don't let me down. I want you to help me to help them. All right. So listen, you know why you're here. You absolutely know why you are here. I know that my special guest is on. Again, I'm waving to a lot of you that I see that are just tuning in. Pick up the phone. I can't text anybody right now, but you can. So text people, call people, let them know that they need to tune in right now. If you are tuned in, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support because for episode 90 of the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast, I have someone who does phenomenal work. This is an up-and-coming, on-the-go, on-the-rise entrepreneur and creative. He's a photographer. I have Mr. LaMar Penick, the owner and CEO of LaMar Penick Photography, for episode 90 of the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast. So here's his story. So on March 7th of 2021, LaMar made the biggest decision of his life. He decided to go from an employee to being his own boss. And I know a lot of you out there can resonate with that gesture because it's a tough move. But that was just in 2021. So he stepped into entrepreneurship full throttle with the faith the size of a mustard seed. And throughout the last 2 years, he has been featured in magazines. He has been featured in news articles, in newspapers, on the news. He's won awards, and he has even done photo sessions for the stars. So we can call him a celebrity photographer at this point. So without further ado, I am going to bring on my special guest for episode 90 of the Jazzy himself, Mr. LaMar Penick of LaMar Penick Photography. I'm so happy to have him on today. How are you, sir?
Hello. Listen, I love I love the intro. I appreciate that.
Listen, you know that you deserve an intro like that. You know you got it.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. How has your day been, sir?
Oh, today it's been good. It's been prepping for today. You know, I started my day off with drinking my water, minding my business, little fruit. And I went to the gym. I always go to the gym, but I really made sure I went to the gym today just so I could feel good. When you feel good, you feel at your best, to get my mental together. I just wanted to fully prepare for this. I wanted to be all the way focused 100% and just be ready. So my day has been going good, and, I'm ready because so far I've enjoyed it. So far just being here, just watch you go through everything. So.
Well, thank you. And I don't take it lightly. I say that all the time. I don't take it lightly that you agreed to be on the podcast. That I know in passing you said, all right, I need to be on the podcast. And I'm like, all right, I need you on the podcast. But it's always been in going and coming when it's been at different events. And so here we are. We're here.
No, here we are. I'm so excited, and I'm thankful. At the time when I asked, I had my event going for no reason. So I felt like at the time I had something to talk about. So when you ask now, I'm like, what am I going to say? I had something to talk about then, but,
Listen, and it's so amazing because, yes, we did have that conversation. And it's like what we don't realize is that we have people who look at us and we don't even know that they're watching. And like, just think about the people that you watch and they have absolutely no idea that you may be admiring them. They have no idea that you may want to connect with them. And so that's the power of just interactions and conversing and even having this podcast, because I know that you're going to resonate with people who just look at you and there's an up and coming LaMar Penick that wants to be just like you, and they haven't told you that. So that's the whole purpose. And you gotta live in that light. So yeah, I see you. Like, I don't want you just because you had no reason. I wanted you before you had no reason. So let's start there.
No, for sure. And then it's so crazy, like you said, there's a lot of people looking, and when I stepped into this, I was just taking pictures. I don't even think like that. You know what I'm saying? And so when people approach and say certain things, it's like, wow, I was just taking a picture. So I'm just thankful. I'm definitely thankful. And I met you. I think it's been 2-3 years. And
I promise you, that was going to be my first question. I was going to ask you, but keep going.
Listen. Now I can't talk, so. But yeah, that's the thing. I met you. I think it's I want to say 2 to 3 years, and even then, I just met you. I didn't know you had a mic in your hand, and you asked me questions. Then I was so nervous, and I believe that was the first time I even been on any type of YouTube or any type of platform, because I just started. We was at the Canvas Event Center, owned by Bethany, and you was hosting then. That's when I met Greg. So, and then I see you again more and more. Then you booked me, which I love that, and I appreciate that so much. So I just, we've been seeing each other on the rise, on the way up.
Absolutely. So listen, that event, Because I was gonna say, like, if you took the words out of my mouth, I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say, I wonder if LaMar remembers how we first met, because I have been thinking about it, like, since, like, even leading up to this interview, and I, no lie, 30 minutes ago, it hits me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly where I met LaMar, because I was in the thick of it, trying to create like a promo video for hosting, and although I had been doing it for like so long, it's like, it's people that look at me, like, for instance, like Greg, he's like, look, I'm just gonna follow you around, I'm just gonna come and I'm gonna make a promo video for you because you need to get out there, da 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 da. And I love that. I love that zeal and that tenacity, you know, for what you do, because, you know, he loves to record events. And so I just remember like you two introducing yourselves, because you were booked to be the photographer and he was taking pictures there. And so I was just like, it just kind of forged like a relationship. And I've noticed that ever since that event, because he's so dope in his own regard, like, I know that he has booked you to be his photographer at his events. He's like, yeah.
That they don't know Greg like we know Greg. When I tell y'all, that is his own, like, he can supply his own energy source for a city, and I'm not even joking. Y'all don't. He his own energy, like Bunny. I mean, he. I'm telling you, he can charge up any and everything. You hook a darn some charging cables to him, he can start a car, because that man is full of energy, and there's so much positive energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, just those small seconds, because, you know, we didn't know then what it's going to be today. You know, so, and that's just those small things that when you're going through life and you moving, like, move correctly. And this is why, you know, like you said, this is why you give grace. You know what I'm saying? This is why you give grace. You just never know who, when, or why. You know what I'm saying? So me and you, him, it's just, you have to always go into a room with grace. You really have to, because you just never know who's going to be that person for you tomorrow.
Yes. And absolutely. And, you know, like, that thing, it has just been on my mind all day. And, like, just even moving, I just look at people just with their interactions. I'm pretty sure that sometimes when people meet you, they have a different perception of who you really are before they get to meet you. Like, do you ever experience that?
Yes and no, because my Facebook, I am 95% of the time, I am positive, I am uplifting.
Yes.
But if you catch me at that 5%, I don't know. They not get LaMar. The people, and listen, I'm gonna get these people in the comments, because they saying names that, you know, they're not supposed to be saying, but you know, they get the before LaMar, the photographer. So, you know, I do, but I will honestly say most of the time, 95% of the time, and I'm okay with that 5%. It's life. I'm human. But most of the time,
my Lord, that 5%.
Listen, that's my coach. Listen, she get the call first. She get the call. She listen. She be if she could just hold me, she really would. But she get that call before that 5%. Before I get the knucking and bucking, you know. So, but no, you know. Honestly, 95. I might be able to push it all the way up to 98%. 98% of the time, like, people do, and I'm so happy for it. People do see what I have presented, who I have pushed for myself. And I'm not even going to say push, who I am authentic, because this is really who I am, you know, and that 5% is who I am as well. So, you know, like I said, I'm okay with it. But most of the time, people do see what I have built, and they do respect it. And I appreciate anyone who respects it, because, you know, I don't have just a logo in front of my name. It's my face. You know what I'm saying? I walk outside the door. I'm in the grocery stores for anyone. So, you know, I'm always making sure that, you know, I'm being nice, is being generous. And that's just who I am as a person anyways. But, you know, if anybody walks up to me and people write me all the time. Say, I saw you in the store. I didn't even know it was them. And I didn't know you were so tall and
Right.
such thing, which is just so funny because in my mind, I'm not even thinking that way. I'm really just at the store or getting something. But for the most part, people do see me for who I am. They accept all of me. They show love. They show appreciation, and so far it's been good. I haven't had too much of anybody thinking one thing, and if they have, I haven't met them. And it's if I do, hopefully we get to have a mature.
Yeah.
We had a Amber Alert just come through.
Okay.
But yeah, most of the time, and then if there is any misunderstanding, I hope that I can always sit down and talk it out with them to just, clear up anything that may be misunderstood, and if not, I pray grace on them and grace on myself, and, we just keep it pushing. It's all business, it's all fun, and it's all love.
Amber Alert.
Yeah,
Lord Jesus, I hope they find.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not too sure if you heard me, but yeah.
Yeah, I did. Mine kind of came in a little late. I don't know if it's because it's Android. I ain't gonna do that to us Android people.
They could do it. What's up? I'm Samsung over here. The quality look good. I've seen it.
Samsung to the floor. So listen, LaMar. So we've already gotten into it. So I'm just gonna continue. But right now we are in my segment that I like to call 21 Questions with Jazz. So I'm just gonna throw some questions out there to you, and then you just respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. So you ready?
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so LaMar, I want to know, how would you describe, you've kind of partially done it, but how would you describe yourself? Like if you had to give a generalization of yourself, what would you say?
Oh God. So first off, I got to say Virgo because, top tier. Yeah.
What did you just say?
Virgo, top tier.
We're going to end this time to go. Unplug everything in the building. It's time to go. Now you know what? I understand that 5% because y'all crazy. That 5%. Now listen.
When I tell you I'm okay with it because if you know.
Let me stop because I do love a Virgo.
But you know what? That is one of the comments that come with us, and I tell people I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I am because it's gonna ward off the people that I don't want around me anyway. So I'm okay with that. But I also share a birthday with Beyonce. Okay. So top tier.
Yeah.
So I would say for myself, it's always gonna be love. Yes. People know you're gonna laugh with me. I'm sorry, you're gonna laugh. It's always gonna be a good time. It's always a good vibe. It is gonna be luxury because I do like to carry myself in a nice way, and anyone who's around me, I like nice things. I am nice. I'm a people's person. I am understanding. I am authentic. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm very upfront. I'm just all around just that person, honestly. And I say that because I'm God fearing. I pray, I manifest. I'm very intentional as well. I very much try to walk correctly and move correctly. So, and I'm very much apologetic when I'm wrong. So, it is really all of those things. And then you add that crazy in at the back of the end. So, that's after all those lists, it's like, don't forget this one at the bottom. Yeah.
Don't forget that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, here, and then move your way up.
Yeah. They can go back up to the top.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Remember what we said down here. You don't want to go there. So I feel you. Like that's perfect. That's perfect. I love that. So listen, prior to you becoming a photographer, what were you doing? Because in your bio you stated that you took that leap of faith and you jumped out into entrepreneurship, but what were you doing before being a photographer?
I was a manager at Hilton Hotel in Orlando. So I was in the customer service industry. So I started at a mom and pop here. It's not called that anymore, but if you guys are familiar with the Winter Haven side on Havendale near the racetrack, across from the Home Depot in the Amscot. It's a small little hotel. That was my very first job. I think it had all of 30 rooms at the time, and where I think if you know the Woody's barbecue, it used to be like a club over there. So on the weekends, it was packed. It was ready to go, and that's when I used to work. So that was my first job. Then I moved over to Hampton Inn, which is the one in Winter Haven by Red Lobster and Outback. That was my second one. That one, it taught me my customer service. I tell people this all the time. Most of my stuff come from the jobs that I had previously. The first hotel, it was just a job I was messing up. My mom got me that job. I was calling her every day because my bank was short, my drops were short, and she would tell me, fix the drawer. Don't worry about your drop. Don't let the people know your money is not right. So she was saving me. So then I went to the hotel on Hampton, which that's a bigger brand, and they just taught. It was a one-man show. So I was taking the towels, I was plunging the toilets, I was folding clothes, I was taking people in, I was making the cookies. If you know about Hampton Inns, they got them cookies. Yeah. So that taught me to be a one-man show. And before I left there, I think I was there for 2 years. My second year, I made supervisor. So I left from there and I went over to it's an Embassy Suites actually in Orlando. That one actually had 300 rooms. We had a huge banquet. Now that's where the corporate side of me actually was taught. I was wearing a suit when I worked there, and I was doing most of the reports. It was a team for everything, so I was no longer that one-man team, but I was so used to it, they had to pull me back. Hey, you don't got to do that, but I used to go and do it. And there, within my first year, I became a supervisor. I became a manager shortly after that. I won awards even there as well. So customer service, and that's always been my thing. So I think once I left from there, I brought that into my business.
Got you. So even before hospitality, and I can see that now because I'm like, that's why you're so polite, and your customer service is truly up to par. So I see where it comes from. Yeah. I see where it comes from. But when we talk about dreams and, talking about from high school to, thereafter, what was your dream? Like, what was your dream job? What did you want to do?
Okay, so as a child, this is crazy. I've always believed I was going to be somebody. That's just what I believe. So as a child, I just told myself I was going to be successful in whatever it was. So at the beginning, when I was younger, my favorite artist was Michael Jackson. So I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to dance and just do all of this stuff. Then moving forward, track and field. Track and field was big for me. It actually still is big. I don't run. I still got a little speed, but track and field was super big for me. I did do really well. I was in a newspaper as well for track and field. I was in AAU websites and I also had awards. My first year running, I ran for my school, which the first time I ran was in 5th grade, was at Garden Grove Elementary. Then I went to the AAU for the summer programs, and that's when I, winning medals and ribbons and going to Tallahassee for championships, just doing a lot, honestly. And then that fell off by high school. I basically took a break one time, and I ate everything in sight. And ooh, that weight came on. I got slow real fast.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I got slow real fast, and I went to try to go back to get into it, but it just didn't. I love to run, but I just couldn't. The conditioning and training, I just wasn't used to it. I actually hurt myself. That's what happened. I put a muscle in my leg, which is why I'm not running. And during that time, I just was eating all McDonald's and honey buns, and I had the munchies, chips bag. I used to walk around at PE. I remember my coaches be like, "We got PE. How you got munchies, my bro? Like, what you doing?" But yeah, and then from that point on, I wanted to own a restaurant. I just honestly, anything that I ever wanted, I wanted to just be successful and the best. Yeah. And even when it came to a restaurant, I wanted to be named LaMar. People may not know this, some do, Lamar is not my first name. It is my middle name. So I wanted even my restaurant, anything that had to do with anything, I wanted it to be Lamar. That it doesn't matter what it was. That's what I wanted it to be. And so yeah, it just went from there. And at the time, after all of those dreams, it was really to just own a hotel at that point because I was in the hotel industry and I was scaling up to be a general manager. But you know, life have its direction. Well, not life. God have His own plans for you. So you know, all of those things just pushed me towards the place I am now.
Yeah. So when you think about that, you know, because also just continuing to read your bio, and you know, we hear these stories about people who leave their regular 9 to 5, and more so than not, the common denominator is just that they bet on themselves and they take a leap of faith. Faith is always included, more so than likely always included in that equation. Talk to me about what that felt like, because you took a totally different direction. And I heard you when you said that I was just taking pictures. And so, you know, that's how it came to be. But Lamar, you know, like you said, you were on that trajectory to general manager, you know, at the hotel that you were managing. And so how do you leave that and then just go into photography?
Listen, I knew that.
That's cool. I mean,
I was scared. I was so scared. I was afraid, but it didn't serve me anymore. You know,
yeah.
I wasn't when so I bought my camera in 2019, and that was the goal on my cruise. You know, I had, you know, lost some weight, put up, you know, some muscle. I was telling people I was ready to be out there in the Bahamas with my shirt off, you know, ready to take some pictures in high quality. So I literally bought my camera just so I didn't have to have it on my phone. And the cruise did not happen. You know, it didn't happen. And so, you know, I took the pictures. People was telling me about it. I didn't think anything of it. 2020, I was ready to launch my, you know, as you know, COVID came in. And during that time during COVID, I had nothing but time, you know, had nothing but time. And I just started taking photos and stuff like that. And, you know, it went really well, very well, honestly. Financially, it was very well. And also, during COVID, it was making people happy. You know, I remember that first year in 2020 when it came with Easter. Easter was not like it used to be. People used to get dressed, they was getting their hair, you know, the girls used to get y'all Sunday clothes, and that was not happening. So I told myself, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? Because it just feels so down. So I ran out and bought stuff for Easter, and I did this photo shoot that went so successful. And I got called back. I was out of work from March to June. In that time frame, when I went back in June, my phone was blowing up for people to come book me. And at that job, I made, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was $200 a week. And people was calling me to book for an hour, you know, $200.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow.
now I'm like, I'm losing the more time that I sit here, you know, what at work being here for 8 hours, I could basically get this in 1 hour and be happy and whatever. You know, the customers at that time during COVID was not nice. You know, they didn't care what was going on in the world. You know, it was aggravating. And at that point, I had already did so much while not being in, you know, while being away. So I went back from June all the way to 2021 in March. And I just couldn't do it anymore. Every day felt like you had to drag. When I tell you I was never late, I was late every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they love me, and I appreciate them so much. But they would write me up, and then they would throw it away because they didn't want me to get in trouble. But I appreciate them so much, but I just couldn't do it. Every day just was not. It was just like, hey, this is not where you should be at. This is not what's serving you. And I said, well, Lord, if I quit, how am I pay my bills? Because I'm supposed to fall out here on faith. And, you know, I only got a mustard seed for real. It was only a mustard seed, you know, because I'm like, how am I pay my bills? Like, what am I going to do? And, you know, I said, well, Lord, they still got unemployment going. They do. And I might have to apply for it because it is doing pretty good. So, you know, I did step out on faith, but with a plan of having that unemployment. And so that's what it was. But in order to get an unemployment, you have to get fired. So I just somehow accidentally got in trouble. And they had to, so that's really what it was. I kind of just slowly walked myself out, but gracefully as much as I could. I knew they didn't understand. And that's the thing, when God got something for you and he got a vision for you, it's not for them to understand. It was for me. So I saw what he had for me. So I wasn't trying to really explain. I just said, he telling me I need to be over here. So I started moving. I started moving my chips and I started putting twigs over here, over in another nest, and started building something for me. So that's what I did. I just ended up moving, and I made that decision when they called me and they told me, hey, this is it. And I said, okay. And I said, thank you guys so much for every single thing that you guys did. And I left that job. And when I tell you, my phone rang every single day. And I also got to really thank Bethany, because I'm telling you, the people that you network with is so important. I had met Bethany just right before, during 2020, I had did an event, a baby shower at her place. When I say that lady kept me booked and busy every single weekend, Friday and Saturday, I lived at the Canvas Event Center. And that was one of those things where God put the people in the right places for me to meet, because he already knew that I wasn't going to be at that job. And the moment that I was not at that job, when I tell you guys the floodgates opened for me, it opened. And I had a mustard seed at that time, baby. After that, I didn't look back anymore. And I tell people all the time, do it scared, do it afraid, do it not knowing what you're gonna do. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to not have it all. But take what you have, take it where God wants you to be at, then he gonna multiply it. So that's it. I know people think it sounds so easy and so cliche. It's not. It was not. I can't stress how afraid I was, but I can't stress how he was speaking in my ear. You know what I'm saying? Because him in my ear was more louder. It was more louder, and it was, bigger than the stress and the fear. So, I put faith over fear seriously. And, that's where we are at,
I'm going to tell you that what you just said is so powerful, and it's going to be a blessing. I'm trying to stay cute and not tear up and all that good stuff.
See, don't do it. Don't do it. Please. I got a tissue here for myself, but please, it wasn't for that.
I'm trying. But I find it fascinating, but I understand it because I've been there where you've been. And what I'm saying is, you even feeling as though you don't necessarily have a comeback story. And I told you, I said, when we go through it, we just go through it because we listen to God, we hear God, and we just know that he's bringing us out of it. But because of the conviction that we have, we know that we want so much more. And we know that there's so much more in store. And so since we haven't had that 360, degree comeback story, like we're not living in the mansion yet, we can't take vacations when we want to, we don't have the car that we want right now, we can't be that philanthropist yet. But the power of yet is that's what's powerful. And I truly believe, LaMar, that what you just stated, I don't care if you were able to be in the White House or if you were on Beyonce's tour right now taking pictures of her. I believe that if somebody asked you what your comeback story was, you're going to start right back where you just told me. Yeah. That's the baseline. Like that, I think that's your biggest testimony to yourself into what you can do, because you absolutely left something that was no longer serving you. And I feel like I think that's the scariest thing that you probably will have to face is your baseline, comeback. And I mean, because it's chaotic and you don't know what's going on. Like, you are just walking in zombie mode. You like that faith. What people don't understand is that when you are walking scared and when you are still walking in your purpose or trying to get to your purpose and trying to trust God and pay bills and do all this stuff, it is mind blowing. It's stressful. It's like an out of body experience, and you're holding on to hearing from God. Like, God, what do you have for me? And it's that total submission, you know. And I mean, I'm not a preacher, or a prophetess, or anything like that. But hey, I know what that whirlwind feels like, and it just feels like you are in the eye of the storm, where everything around you is so chaotic. In some kind of way, it's like he keeps you just safe
When I
there.
tell you he keep you just, I mean, you be by.
I mean, listen, you be like, what
But
is
Lord,
going on?
the weapons, they forming. They about to prosper. They getting close.
Like,
What
God, like right now.
No, it's so serious. And I think that he has to do that. So when he come and shield you, you like, wow. I
Yeah,
thought, but wow. Just right when, okay, I see you. You know, and that's
yeah,
it. It is a powerful thing. And you know what's so crazy? Before, when I used to say things, I used to be like, oh, guys, I apologize. I'm going to get religious. But I'm like, why am I apologizing? You know what I'm saying? A lot
yeah.
of times when you go to speak about God and religion, you go to apologize as if you're saying and doing something wrong. So I don't
Right.
apologize. You know, if you get offended, baby, move out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because it just ain't for you. I need you to move out the way because the person behind you is probably for them, and you're
Yeah.
blocking it. So can you please?
It's for them.
Yeah.
And that is absolute facts. Absolute facts. Like, I can't, I mean, I don't know how you can go on this journey and you not give reverence to that, you know, like, because that's what keeps you. That's what sustains you. That's what propels you. Like, that's what gets you. Like, it's so funny to me because people, you can always tell, or I will say, I always hear people say that you never look through what you've gone through. And I think that's by the grace of God. Because I'm like, girl, if you knew how toe up
Right.
I was, or I am, I'm like, that's him. Like I gotta give all praises to him with that, because that tenacity is something else. And then it's not, because I was gonna say with you, you know, being a male, and you have to live up to these standards of being a man,
That
and
right there,
you
a
you
whole
gotta
nother way. That that's so. With everything, always. After I thank God, my mother comes right after that because, growing up, she definitely always taught us to have a relationship with Him, not the church, but with Him, know Him for yourself. And we also have to know that, sometimes we are blessed, from our parents' prayers. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes what they didn't get in their life, they pray it onto their kids. So, I do believe that, I'm also receiving some of the prayers from my mother, even before she had kids, before she even knew anything. She probably just prayed that she hoped that her family and her kids is not like this. So I think that it's those prayers falling back down. And of course, when I receive those blessings, of course, it's going back to the person who's always been blessing me and been supporting me through all this. So I think that, once you have your faith, you got to have support come right up under that. And my mom has been super supportive. And me being a black man in this world is even more difficult.
yeah.
That takes on a whole nother, you know, with me being a photographer, I tell people I'm a photographer. I am not a black photographer. I do not only shoot black people or minorities. I am a photographer. So to even break barriers to reach different demographics, that itself is difficult.
Yeah.
Certain of them come easily to me with nothing, but there's others that don't. And I'm like, well, when you put your business out there, everyone flocks to it. Why, when I put my business, I don't see you. I have to, you know, so it's definitely is difficult. And, when I have my two phones, I do have two phones. I have a personal, and I also have a business phone. No, I don't sell drugs. I'm not a scammer. I don't do fraud. I'm a businessman. That's what I
Business.
am. And I remember when I used to work in the hotel, every time you see a black man in a suit, oh, that's a pastor. No, it's not. That's a businessman. Why is it
Right.
every time you see a black man in a suit, you assume he's just a pastor?
Yeah.
But when you see other demographics in the suit, oh, who is he? What does he do? No, they're all that's just a businessman. So when you see me, I'm a businessman. I'm not whatever you thought I was. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
I know that's right. But you know what? That's one thing I love about you. Like I love your sense of fashion. And so what did you get that from?
Ooh, you know what? I really got to say, honestly, starting off, Michael Jackson, honestly, that's really, I remember growing up, I remember seeing the Michael Jackson Bad video when he had like the built straps. Listen, I don't know what it was, but it was just, and then, what is the song? They Don't Care About Us. So not
Yeah.
just the song, but the whole intro. Yeah, with
Yeah.
with like the captain looking like, I don't know what it is, but that right there to me just, it was different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So from the beginning, I never sought to be like any. And mind you, he's a Virgo. I'm just saying. Um, um. So it's just that right there. And once again, I think it's very important, for black parents, to allow their kids to be expressive and be
Yeah.
creative. You know what I'm saying? We be so quick to, why you wearing that? Why you doing this? And then when they outside with their pants sagging, now you upset at that. But you guys push this certain, you didn't allow them to wear whatever and do what they want. So, I didn't wear Jordans all the time. I had Nike Shox. Nike Shox was my thing. I used to run tracks. So I used to like shoes like that. But moving forward, I ended up going into just MTV Cribs. I remember seeing their homes. I remember always you see MTV Cribs. The guys always had a like a dresser next to their bed with 20 colognes. So next to my bed is about 20 colognes. It just showed that you can live, you know what I'm saying, a different way. And also, when I worked in Orlando, it's so many demographic of different people. The Europeans, were the Brazilian, like it let me know, like, you know what I'm saying? You can be this for the black man, you can still be a man and not be a
Yeah.
certain stereotype.
Be versatile.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you could definitely still be masculine and all these things and still dress in a different way. You don't have to dress and people will see you as thuggish or ghetto, or you know what I'm saying. Sometimes those were the styles during that time, so that makes sense. But some people just have this thing where you can only be this way because you're black or dress this way when you're black. And when I went to Orlando, it's a tourist place and I see different type of demographics of people, it definitely also changed. But MTV was one of those things. And also, I don't really know. Honestly, as a child, my mom can tell you, I've always just being this top tier, high quality person. I have no idea, honestly. I don't know. It just who I am.
Listen, I love it. I'm like, and then when you sent the bio picture, pictures, you sent 3. You was like, I don't know, just choose one. Now you know which one I was gonna choose. I need the
Listen,
one with the
I
cape
didn't want to
and
be
the.
the person to do it, but
You was there.
one thing for sure, when I was in corporate business, I was not allowed to show up as me.
Yeah.
And now that I have my own business, I want to show up as me. I want other people, other brown faces, light skinned faces, I want them to see that you can be yourself
Right.
and be successful. First thing when I started working, they took my earrings out. I'm like, but that's why, something so simple, but that is just why I don't feel like me when I don't have my earrings. They used to keep me in. I even went down to the smallest studs you could find, but it's just who I am. That's just me. So when I walk in my business, I'm walking as myself, and I'm walking as, I want other people to see you can be yourself, show up as you, because that's when you're the most comfortable, when you're showing up as yourself. So that's the reason why I carry myself, where I dress. I always want to try to make a statement, and people, believe it or not, I am shy when I go into those rooms. Sometimes I really don't know what to say, so I tell myself, well, if I dress this way, they'll come to me, and that would be the icebreaker. So a lot of times that is my icebreaker. You know what I'm saying? That is my way to kind of engage and interact with people.
Yes. I love that. I love that gateway, and I see it work. And it works. It works. It works. It's a conversation piece. It's a conversation piece. So listen, I have two memes that I saw. Not even necessarily memes, but they were posts. And I want to see how you react to them. So the first one is, whether they support you or not, it's still going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
What resonates with you when I say that?
Honestly, just that. I remember when I first started, the people who did not show up. When I tell y'all, it rocked my world. Because sometimes it was the people within my own home. Sometimes it was just people within my own family. Sometimes it was just your closest friends, my closest friends, and it was just like, it was frustrating. Mind you, I was new to it, you know what I'm saying? And it just built character, but I was new to this. So when I'm stepping out, I'm like, why y'all not sharing? Why you not liking? Why you not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it became frustrating. But regardless of what they didn't do, God did, so that's really what, it don't matter what they do. And you know what, regardless of what they did or did not do, I still did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still posted the photos. I still put the content out because I told myself when they do double back, because they will double back, you got to charge them double when they do. But when they do double back, they're going to see and like, oh, I remember that person. Yeah. So it became a point where, yeah, you have to really build. It was a confidence builder, to be honest. And once again, it's trusting into yourself, trusting into your talents, the God-given talents. It really just put it back on me. Honestly, it made me go hard. You don't want to share my stuff? That's fine. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put something out there. You're gonna want to share. You're gonna want to, oh, I know him. Oh, let me tag him. Oh yeah, you're gonna want to do that. So it really, I tell people, you throw stuff at me, baby, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it every time. Like, I don't care what you're doing. It's a stepping stone for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, don't let me get hyped. Don't let me get hyped because
what we finna do? We finna go down to that 5%. That's what we finna.
Listen, it's about to come to the top. I'm telling, because when I tell you, you'll be surprised who do not clap for you, who don't. You know what I'm saying? You'll be so surprised, and I know a lot of people, especially when you're doing it, it is discouraging. It can be very upsetting and very surprising, but I'm just one of them people. It's like, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna find another way. Because the thing is, when people think that they stopping something or they the reason why you can't, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you, baby. I'm gonna show you. I'm telling you, I'm gonna show you. And the people who know me know I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna let you know, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna smile. Boy, I'm gonna just look at you. What's up?
Right. I feel you on that. I think a lot of, not even I think, but I mean, just that's why I wanted to ask that question, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who are trying to push their content or push something, we experience that. And it is the toughest thing to be an entrepreneur or trying to build a platform that's based off of if people book you, if people like you, if people resonate with your content. That is tough, because you start to harbor feelings of, is it me? Like, is it that they just don't like me?
And that's another thing.
Well, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, you have to actually do self-reflection. And I feel like you have to hold and have yourself accountable. Because one thing that I did do was, let's really be honest. Am I putting out quality work that someone really wants to support? Because,
right.
It's like that friend who's still trying to rap, but they can't rap. But, like
you ain't supposed to Jesus.
But realistically, that person have to have a conversation and be realistic with themselves. Like,
right.
Do I really have the talent? You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, it's okay. What can you do to get the resources to get to what you need? Because honestly, sometimes, if you can't rap, if you don't really know how to do makeup, if you don't really know how to do hair, yes, a few people might support you a few times, but honestly, if it's not quality work and if it's not growing, you have to really be honest with yourself, and you have to really be understanding to those people. Like, them people are not going to support that, unfortunately. Like, you just have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you said that piece as well, because just listening to how you felt about it, and then just saying it's only going to make me better, and then the icing on the cake is what you just stated, because I just recently just had that conversation with myself, and it's just like, it's elevation. And so when you're doing something that's built off of visuals, which we both do, you are a
Yeah.
photographer, for goodness sake. So your product visually has to be stimulating, visually has to resonate with your clients, with your customers. And if you want a certain type of clientele, then you have to try to cater to that particular demographic, or you have to put out a product that, just like your ensemble that you show up in, that's going to attract them to you. And so it's the same thing with the podcast situation as well. But it does still kind of get discouraging when the people that, like you said, are in your house or that are in your circle don't show up, because regardless, that's supposed to
But
be
here's the thing,
your
though.
tribe.
When those people, whether in your house and your friends, when they don't show up, it's fine. It's totally okay. And then when it's time, because it's going to become your time where you're going to be going somewhere, you leave them right where they couldn't show up for you at. You're going to leave them right there, because you didn't show up. You wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to leave you right here, just where you left me, and I'm going to go to where I got to go now.
Yeah.
And
I feel you.
And it does hurt. I ain't gonna lie, it hurts. It hurted bad. I mean, I didn't understand. I'm asking all questions, and I just stopped going at those people, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just draw back, because I'm gonna lose focus if I keep doing that. So you just stop. You got to stop focusing, because man, the devil will use anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. He will use anybody to stop you off the focus, especially if you got something good and you just don't know it yet, because that's the thing. You don't know it yet. And when you don't know it yet, they're going to use every trick in the book. He's going to use any and everybody, any and everyone. So that's when you just got to fall back, focus on yourself, hone in, and listen to the critics. You have to listen to the critics. You have to listen to the good and the bad, and then you got to apply what's necessary. And now you got to move forward. Now let's move forward.
I agree. I saw you at an event, and I want to say it was Portia's fashion show. It either was Portia's fashion show or we just were out and about, and I saw you. But I remember I said something to you, and I can't remember. I can't remember my exact words, but the tone was it. I was apologizing to you for something, for not booking, or know what it was, because you did my anniversary photos, and I was telling you a story behind it. I was telling you how I was going so hard for you to be our personal photographer for the weekend, and because I was just telling you that others had suggestions of photographers, but I really, really wanted you. And so I love the statement that you made to me when I said that, and you just said that it would have been okay if you guys wouldn't have booked me, because at least I would have been on your mind. And now that I do, now that you guys did book me, you guys have that work, even if I don't get booked for the next one, I know I'll get booked for something else. And I just looked at you and I was like, I really, really, really like the way you think about that. So how did you get to that point, Virgo?
Listen, when I tell you, because what I realized was, so it's even with yourself. When you get booked for a hosting, you've already got that job. You know what I'm saying? Now the people in the room is now trying to get those jobs. So I can no longer focus on, you've already booked me. It's done. It's already happened. You know what I'm saying? But now you put me in the minds of 5 other people. So, you know what I'm saying? And they liked the content. And even if, you know what I'm saying, nowadays, even if they couldn't or you couldn't book me at that time, I'm in their minds now. They are now, you know what, let me see if this person's available. That's 5, 6 people. So when you go to do a hosting, it's, the person who booked you was one person. But now you've been put in the mind of 20 to 30 people. You know what I'm saying? So that work with that person is done. Whatever it needs to have, whatever it was, is done. The job was complete. So I just learned that it is done. You know what I'm saying? I have been presented to the new possibilities, and now my focus is on the new possibilities. You know what I'm saying? So I
Absolutely.
don't know. It's just, I don't know. Listen,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell y'all the same time. It's God. God did. Like, it's gonna be that every time.
God did. Grace, God did.
Yeah, and it's just when I say one thing I did, so when I stepped into this, I tried to learn and listen and apply as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And I tell people this all the time. What is taught to you is not the same time that you apply it. So when your parents tell you something at the age of 10, you may not apply it until you're 20.
Right.
So I wanted to move faster at the applying part. So when I would sit there and be told something, once again, Coach B, Bethany, I would talk to her, my awesome mentor, and Tampa and Mallory, and my mom, who's always here. When something was told, I said, okay, let me apply this right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to not have those things happen again, or whatever it was needed to get to the next level. I knew the faster that I applied, the faster it would start working, the faster I would start going to the direction that I wanted to go into. So I think that's what it was. It was just the people around me that support, and just when someone tells you something, especially that have success or been there, apply it.
Yeah.
There's no point in questioning them, because obviously what you're doing is not working. So what's the point in questioning? Try what they're doing. You know what I'm saying, and apply it. There's no point in questioning what someone's telling you when they're successful. Just apply it.
Yeah. I agree. I like that too. The second one that I wanted to ask you. So this is one that I posted, and I've been reflecting on it, and it's just stating that the comeback will always be more. The comeback will always be greater than the setback. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the comeback. So the comeback is always greater, and I 100% agree, because when you lose everything, it's just devastating. That's a setback. It sets you back. But when you conquer and get through it and overcome, oof, the spirit that fills your body, your mind, the joyous shout, that church dance, that's something that's not man-made. You know what I'm saying? That's an unspeakable feeling. I mean, even now me saying it just gives me chills, because that comeback, oof, it just, because only you know really for sure what that setback felt like, and what you went through, and what you had to do to get to where you was at. Oof. I mean, it's so deep inside. It's something that's just, you become an out of body. It's just an energy and a spirit, a Holy Spirit that it's just God holding you, because it's like, what?
Yeah.
I made it through that. I got through that. Like, I didn't know how, when, and this is the other side. Like, now I can say I remember when. Like, it's just that comeback. It's just, to that setback, it kind of put a little battery in your back. You just kind of get like, ooh, Lou, I gotta get from here. This ain't right. I'm upset. How do I, it really honestly drives you. It put gas in your tank. It put a fire up under your feet. So that setback, it does suck, but it pushes you forward. And when you get past that, I'm telling you, that comeback, boy,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yes, it is. And then one of the most critical things that I think is learning from your setbacks.
Yes.
When you are in the midst of your comeback, I was also reflecting on the fact that some people tend to hold bitterness for the situation, or maybe even for the people, during that time. And I feel like the emotions are warranted, but I don't feel that God is going to bring us out of such of a difficult space for us to come out with a bitterness to us. I think that we have some discernment, and
Yeah.
discernment is totally different from bitterness.
Yeah.
But I just want to implore people, as I every single week, go on this journey of exploring people's comebacks. When you are in your setback, like, you go through some hurt, you go through some spells of not being sure, of doubt, of fear, of feeling less than, there are some emotions that go with that. And so I just implore anybody who's going through their valley at this time, pray to God for discernment, but pray that he gets you out on the other side without a bitterness, like a bitterness to you, but just giving you that satisfaction and that conviction that you can make it through anything. And I just think that's like another critical part of this whole comeback piece. And that just kind of hit me because I'm like, yo, like I talk about comeback stories all the time, but let's get real about it. Like sometimes we be looking at folks like, don't you even come in my face. Like, no, partner. Like,
listen, I'm a little different, so the comments gonna know. But I used to be one of those people where I would get through something and I probably didn't speak my piece or say nothing, and that's where that bitterness comes. I'm not telling people to do it, but I me personally, I'm working on it. I'm big on getting my lick back, so I don't feel bitterness. Yeah, I don't feel bitterness. I don't feel that because one thing for sure, I know a lot of times when I held my peace, I held my tongue, it stayed inside of me. It stayed inside of my mind. And even when I was out of that situation, you still do feel upset because you never really released that energy. So I'm big on releasing that energy. Yeah, I'm going to release it because I'm not going to hold it in. So when I see people, I could smile in their face. Hey, how you doing? What's up, bro? Hey, girl. Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, cuz? I can do that because 9 times out of 10, I got it off my chest. Now, they the one over there looking hurt and looking crazy. It's off of me. So, how you doing? It's it's nothing. But I'm not telling people to do that. But I just found what works for me. So I just say, but definitely you have to learn so you don't be in those situations again. And that's one thing I do. After I get my lick back, I do go and learn. I do go and learn it. And
like, I got to do this first, but I promise you I'm going to learn.
One second, Lord. Let me, yeah. But I'm replaying on that one, too.
Prayer. Now, I'm going to tell you, now, that's where we are. That's where I'm doing my work.
Yeah.
Like I'm really trying, because you're a Virgo, I'm a Scorpio.
Oh,
and so
Lord. I know. I got a friend. I know a Scorpio. Baby, that sting is there for a reason.
So
that's the devil on my shoulders. They know who they is. The Scorpio, they right there. Do it. They right there.
I'm so sweet until I'm not. Yeah. But now let me stop. So, just as being grown, because we've said that we bounced that term around, a lot. But being grown, and it's growth. That's my growth point right now. It's just really being able to just grow through what you go through.
Yeah.
And not necessarily feeling like you have to get your lick back, because God will take care of them and then karma will take care of them. However, look, this is a real conversation, so that it is what it is, and so it's a growth area, for me, because and my thing is I move in. When I say that you no longer exist, I don't know this man. I feel sorry for this man. I don't know who this man is.
Listen,
so that's what I got to pray myself through, because baby.
Yeah. And when I tell you, they know, the people that know me know, I am in that moment of prayer right now. When I tell you, everyone, please put your hands on me and bow like he is, and I think the reason why, because, you said you've been doing this for a while. I haven't been doing this for long. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that all this come because when you work at a job and a client or customer get irate, you call it a supervisor, you call it a manager, you call for someone else to handle it. You know what I'm saying? When you get bad reviews or people just slandering your names, you get to call somebody else to handle it. The fact that you get to yell at me, cuss me out, and I gotta fix it. My heart be beating, Lord. I'm about to. you know, it's just
This say LaMar Penick photography. Like, go somewhere else.
that's what I'm. And the thing, and I tell people, please, if I'm not for you, please just go. Please, it's okay. You know, I don't even because I don't even want to do those things, but
Yeah.
I'm just learning. And the thing is, people don't understand when you are self-employed and you're running a business. There is no break between that employee who got yelled at, you know what I'm saying, to the supervisor who gets to go. That supervisor gets a refreshing of what's going on, and they get to go in with a fresh face, like, you know what I'm saying, they already got a solution. But when you're the person who just taking all of the blows, and you know, and they do hit that one spot, it's just like, it's hard. It is so difficult. And me being more at the beginning of this, you know what I'm saying, definitely it is tough enough. I do understand that this is what comes with it. And you have to understand this is what comes with it. And you definitely, like I said, at the end of the day, it does teach you a lesson. And it does start to teach you. So the faster you start applying those lessons, the less you will have to deal with it. There's going to be more battles come up the road. But this is a battle that I know myself I don't want to keep getting stuck at. So I definitely am trying to learn, pray, and when those situations happen, I'm trying to get past it, because that could be the thing that's holding you back from getting to the next level, and I don't want that to be myself.
Yeah. So let's talk about the next level, you know, as the icing on the cake of the interview and the finale. Like, you are making moves, LaMar, like in just a short span of time.
Thank
You've
you.
been able to, you're very welcome, and it's so deserving, but you've been able to link with great mentors. You've been able to make great connections. You know, you have a great clientele right now. Your studio is growing. You know, I'm seeing more and more creative shots, and it's progressing. You know, you have celebrity clients and all of that right now. And so I was just wondering, like, what sets you apart from other photographers? Because, you know, photography, it's not like an unsaturated field. You know, there's a lot of photographers out there. So what sets LaMar Penick photography aside from other photographers?
Well, first off, one thing I don't like to do is be compared to photographers, because everyone has their own niche, their own they specialize in whatever they got going on. You know, when I started photography, I never actually researched, at least locally, on photographers. I always looked in Africa, LA, New York, you know, the UK. Like, I never looked locally. So what separates me, I don't know, to be honest. I think what people see is what separates me. You know, I know that I like luxury and nice things, and so I have an eye differently. You know what I'm saying? One thing people don't know is I love fashion and models. So, you know, when my clients come to me, I'm not posing them just for a maternity shoot. You know, I'm posing them as if they're Tyra Banks pregnant. You know,
Yeah.
like it's, you know, I just see like what I can do for each person. If every photo shoot I go into, I have no idea what I'm doing. People don't believe it. It's what you bring to me and what I can create from it. I have no idea. So I think maybe just me being a creative, whatever you know, I just turn something into something else that I see in it. And, you know, if that's what sets me apart, you know, but it's really just God gives God's talent. I didn't ask for it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to school for photography. It's just what's in me. And I know it's probably like a super humble, but I don't really know, because I just do me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if someone wants to put it on a pedestal and say it's great, you know, thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? I do see other photographers, and when they put out work, and that's what they put out. If they like it, they like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not for me, you know, to dictate on what it is. Now, if you ask me, I could tell you what I see, you know what I'm saying, what I would do differently, but they're not asking me, you know what I'm saying? So if that's what you like, if that's what you're okay with, so be it, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to answer that question. I really wish I really could answer it, but I just know I'm a vibe. It's me.
Yeah. I think you summed it up. Like, I see people that are saying you're just different. I see people that are saying that you're just very good at what you do. You bring something new to the table. You're very creative. And to be quite honest with you, you know, that humble spirit and that God-given talent that you keep saying, that's absolutely what it is. Because I'm saying, we were just at the Grammys of Polk County, and I'm sorry, but who won the Photographer of the Year award? I do believe it was you.
And you know what? My friend put this. He just different. So one of my sayings, doing or no reason, was I'm different. So, and not me, you, everyone, you're different. So I tell people, when the devil gets your back, you know, when you're not understand what you're going through, it's because you are different. You may not see it. And the reason why sometimes it's hard for myself and others is that you don't really know what people lack because it comes so easily to you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what it is that you like, oh, I just did it. They couldn't even stand up. They couldn't even speak the words. You know what I'm saying? People didn't even know how to curate and create these things. So when I tell people, you know, because you're different, it's I'm different. I'm literally just that. And another Virgo, if you guys know 2 Chainz, that is another Virgo who's saying it's my favorite song, I'm different. Like, that resonated with me so much because I'm just different. I'm just me. I'm unapologetically different, and I am so okay with that because God is just pouring his blessings, you know, over me. So it's just that I'm just different. That's just what it is. I'm Mr. No Reason, as people may say. I do have to say all my taglines because I'm not just one person. I'm more than one person, as you might have seen in my bio.
Yes.
I'm a trader. I thank God for allowing me to be an influencer. I thank God for allowing me to give the gift of gab to be able to talk and speak into people, to speak life into people, to speak into myself, to pour into people and allow people to pour into me. You know, I'm just this entrepreneur that when I see things, I know how to make money out of it. You know, so I'm just all those things in one. And I just thank God for every heartbeat, every breath that I get to not do it for myself, do it for somebody else. I don't even take pictures for me. The pictures are for them. You know what I'm saying? I want to be so happy. Oh my God, look how I look. I love when people say that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
I'm sorry, the spirit should be.
No, you know, you're good. You're speaking good stuff. This is a totally great conversation. And what do you see for LaMar Penick photography next? Like, what would make you feel like you had a comeback story? Like, when you get where? Like, what's your goal? What's your aim?
First of all, when the money is in the bank, like,
look, LaMar, listen, let's be real now. Let's
like, no, people understand
you may have to be a recurring guest because I just need people to be as real as you. Because I'm like, look, yes, we are talented, yes, but baby, I need some zeros in the bank. I need some zeros and some commas in the bank.
They don't know I'm doing this broke. Like, and people be like, you broke. Like, I mean, everyone got their different levels of broke, but baby, I'm still here. I haven't left. Like, so it's one when the money is in the bank and I can, you know, when I can see it and it can stay, and when I spend, it's still a lot there. That's when I would know.
Listen, when I be a philanthropist.
Yeah. That's one of them, but it's so hard to say because everything that has came into my life, I didn't ask necessarily for it. I always asked God, I said, what's going to be next? And when I created things, a lot of my photo shoots and that people just wowed them, I did not know what was going to happen. I literally tell people, sometimes a client would come and I would take their photo, or a model would come, and they don't ask for the creation. They just ask for my regular edit, but something just comes over and I just create whatever it is. I remember I created, I don't know if you saw the photo, but one of my first ones that I just loved was the photo where the girl had a burgundy red like dress or so, and behind her was 2 red burgundy fish. And I don't know if you saw that photo, but
it doesn't. Okay.
That photo to me, I took that photo and I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I did not know anything about this, and someone told me to create this image. And I was up until 7 o'clock in the morning creating that image. And, it landed in a magazine in France, that put me internationally to be in a magazine. I did not know that was going to happen. So that's why it's hard for me to say because I never know what's going to be the next big thing and what God's blessing is going to be. I do know that I need to move in a certain direction at least. You know, I do know that I have to keep elevating and going up and expanding myself. You know, now that I do travel to Atlanta, I do travel to Miami. You know, so I do know that I've done what I have to here. So now it's time for me to go do something somewhere else. So I do know that much, not to just stay in one spot. I got to move my feet and just kind of keep going and find what else is out there for me.
Yes. Do you offer mentorships?
So I luckily blessed, and I'm thankful for the person who does call me their mentor. People are hard-headed and they don't like to listen.
For sure. For sure.
So, and I'm very serious at what I do. Like, it's not for play. So when people don't listen, you know, it's just, you know, I just, you know, let's just get somebody else to do it. Because I tell you, when Bethany and them told me, and my mentor Mallory in Tampa, I listened. You know, they didn't have to tell me something 10 times. Now, the lick back thing, they are telling me that about 20 times, I will be honest. Now, the other thing, they didn't have to tell me too many times, max at 2. So that's the thing, that when it comes to mentor, it takes patience. It takes patience, and I do have patience to a degree, but when people don't listen, they keep coming back to me with the same thing I already told them. Mm-mm. You know, I just want the serious person who's really to invest in themselves and, you know, have faith. And that's what it really takes. I need that person who is serious. And if you're not serious, like, just, you know, no thank you. You know, it's just, but if I can't get that person, and I do have someone, they know who they is, I'd be happy to, you know, every now and then. But, you know, when I have those people come along, I did training for classes and stuff, and I love the people who took the time to do that. But when those people are serious, I definitely would take them up under my wing. I don't mind if someone comes to my inbox and have questions for me. I don't mind giving it to them, because my mentor in Tampa, at that time, I never paid her a dime, and she was willing to give me the information. I want to be that blessing to someone else. And when I did get those checks, I definitely did send them her way, because, you know what I'm saying, she did something she didn't have to do. And I think when you're pouring into somebody, the best thing that they can do is go be great. You know, that's the best thing that you could do for me. You know, if I'm talking to you and speaking into you and helping you, the best thing that you can do for me is go be great. Go be beyond me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for that all day long.
I feel that. I feel that a lot. So, LaMar, this has been a great conversation. Like,
it has been great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy it. You know what? I didn't want it to end. I know it has to end, but I really appreciate this, and I love it so much. And I've been reading the comments as we go. I know we haven't really been able to interact with them directly, but I haven't seen everyone's comment, and their positive comments and everything they're saying. So I'm just thankful for the platform.
You've been leaving some great comments too, and I hate, because like when I post it, like the comments are gonna go and all of that, so y'all gotta come back and like it again and leave your comments and stuff there. But I really thank you for this, and so that discernment and that spirit that you move in when you do it with photography, you just know. When I ask someone, you know, to be on the show, or if I want them to be on the show, or they approach me, like, I just know, like, I'm like, LaMar, you're gonna have a great interview. Like, what are you talking about? Like, like, stop.
No, I
And I'm
appreciate
like, yeah, I mean, I do. I appreciate you too, and I just I always say, go ahead.
I said you make it easy.
Well, thank you. Like, and honestly, like, that's just my gift, because I like to converse, just like you said you like to talk. I love to converse. Like, this podcast could go on for a straight another 5 hours, and I wouldn't even feel it. Like, it would feel like 5 minutes. So I'm like, I'm in that same boat with you, but I just I always pray to God to, you know, just to lead me to genuine people, or just to people who will be maybe they're not that person that I may just stay connected to and we just grow from one another, because I've had, like, you're my 90th person that I've had on this podcast, and honestly I've done podcasts with multiple people on here, so we're probably at about 100 people that I've already had on this podcast, and some of them we've built some beautiful relationships, and then some of them it's like I never hear from them. So it's just like, but I hear about their episode and people are like, I saw when you had such and such on and da 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 da, and they have received blessings from being on this podcast. And so I just thank you for really substantiating what I firmly believe, because I truly believe that everyone does have a comeback story, whether it be small, whether it be major. Everybody's comeback story is major in their life. And so truly and honestly believe that you can come back from anything with God. And I used to just say the right resources, but as I'm learning, sometimes you could have the right resources at your fingertips, whether it be people or whether it be things. But if you don't know how to tap into those resources or use them, they serve you no purpose. Nice. So now I'm saying with the right know-how with those resources and your ability to be able to put in the work. Yeah. That is the winning formula for a successful comeback. And I see you growing. Like, man, you better hurry up and go to Atlanta and LA and Patty.
Listen, and you know what?
With your rich self. We all know Virgo's like luxury with your rich self.
And you know, it's so crazy. So the thing is, you know, I got into a car accident. And so with that, I just like, Lord, why this had to happen? So I've been wanting the car that I have now for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I did not want to get it. At the beginning of this year, I told myself I was going to get it, and I chose not to. Because I'm like, I don't think it's a smart decision. You know, I just don't think it's a smart financial decision. I'm not going to do it. So when I got to the car accident, you know, I was annoyed because it's like, Lord, I was going to pay this car off, and because I was close. You know, I was close to the last payment. So I was like, I'm just going to pay it off and be smart with my money. But he had other plans, and that check, you know, it went clear for that. So I'm like, well, since we here, you know, and so it's just, I tell people, like I said, you can have the resources, but it's a time and place. You know, I wanted to do a podcast back then during no reason, but it wasn't the time. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. You can have resources that will sit there for years. You might never tap in, and it's okay because it's not the time. You may not even know how to use it, which is why you can't even use it. You don't know how to handle it. You might burn yourself trying to figure it out. So, you know what I'm saying? You probably just take some time. So I tell people I'm learning. Part of it takes time. Part of it takes talent. And sometimes it takes both. Time is experience. They give you time and experience. And sometimes it's just natural talent that's going to get you there. And sometimes it's going to take both. So when you don't understand, sometimes you might have to lean on your talent. Sometimes you got to lean on time, and then it will eventually happen. You know what I'm saying? And then when that time comes, you're going to be leaning on both of them, and they're both going to get you through that door. So those are the two T's.
I believe it. I like it. LaMar, tell everybody how they can stay connected with you, how they can book their session with you.
Y'all can stay connected with me on Instagram, LaMar Penick _photography. That is where you will see my content. That's where you will see my portfolio. That is the best place that you can see me posting my work consecutively. Now Facebook, up under LaMar Penick, you will see me with the purple suit on. That is where you can basically kind of get to know my character a little bit. You know, that's where I do my best to do that 95% of positivity and uplifting, and that's where you will see a little bit 5% of that craziness. But you know, Facebook is basically for me to show my character more and also to still showcase my work. But if you just want to skip all that and book me, you know, you go to LamarPenickPhotography.com and you can just go straight. If you didn't see all you need to see, you know what you know, you like what you like, And, you know, the coins is ready. Just go straight to the website. You don't got to ask me anything. Just go and do your thing. So LamarPenickPhotography.com for my website, and LamarPenick_photography my Instagram. And on Facebook, it's Lamar Penick with the purple suit, you know, the 1-2, the Virgo. That's, you already know.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So listen, Jazzy Crew, while I have you, I thank you so much, Lamar, for being my special guest for episode 9.